Welcome back to eBEFOREi Video Reviews. Today we take a look, myself and C-BEFOREi, at Titan's Returns Broadside with Blunderbuss. That's that because his name's Blunderbuss.
Blunderbuss.
So silly. Anyway, this is an interesting triple changer. He's an Autobot. He turns into an aircraft carrier, and also he turns into a jet, and also a robot. Now, the bad thing about this is the two of the three modes are fantastic. This robot mode is super great. The aircraft carrier, super great. The jet, super sucks. But I'm going to show you an alternate transformation that will actually make this jet mode look passable to even good. So then you have three solid modes, which means I would recommend you go get this. Let's flip the camera around and show you I always screw this up. Titan's Return, because they're coming back with Blunderbuss and Broadside. All right, so here he is out of the packaging, and this is by far the best of the three modes, I think. The robot mode's really good too, but this is for sure the best alt mode. This is the aircraft carrier, and I mean, just look at this thing. It looks massive. You've got aerial bots that actually come with it. They're on the pegs. You got to take them out. You can stick them on, and I'll take one off and show it to you up close. You've got Blunderbuss here on the side, who's probably going to get wet because, he's just sitting next to the ocean, and that's what happens. But all the way around, I mean, this thing is impressive. You know what I mean? Like, just aircraft carrier. Love aircraft carriers, not that I've ever been on one, but if I was, this would be one to go on because it's got transformers and aerial bots. So let's take a look at this thing up close and look at some of the detail on the carrier itself. Again, still dealing with my injured thumb, and yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, it freaking hurts! Paper cut on cardboard. Anyway, so you got the number 36 on the front and all this in plastic molding. I mean, look at this thing. This is just really impressive. Autobot symbol, which those that know me know I'm a huge fan. But you notice that it's a sticker. It's one of those foil stickers. Look at the jets, by the way. These are the aerial bots. So, yeah, that's kind of a neat thing to have on here. You've got sticker runway and the control tower, or radar, or, whatever, maybe control tower / radar. I don't know what the proper term is, but that's very cool as well. All around, the top of this carrier is really awesome. Now, looking on the bottom, there's not really much to see because you're not going to hold him from the bottom, but it's not overtly anything else. I mean, yeah, you do have a plane cockpit, so that's kind of overtly a plane. But the rest are just bits and little kibble and things. Ooh, made in Vietnam, so that's good to know, I guess. Hasbro 2016 is the date on this. Some screws and things and such. Ooh, you know what? I should probably have this down. That will help kind of balance things out. I think that's part of the... Yeah, that should be down. So that'll help kind of balance this as he's in that mode. So yeah, that's the landing gear, excuse me. That's the aircraft carrier. Now these planes, as I mentioned, do come off. And we'll take Silverbolt here, and you can kind of see the details. They just kind of stick in the pegs. So there he is, and it looks really cool. You know what I mean? I mean, there's not really anything to it, and you can see where I kind of screwed up taking it off the peg. So if you don't want paint being chipped and such, you might want to grab an X-Acto knife or something like that. But these are cool. Now, you don't have to take them all off during transformation. Sometimes they do fall off, and that, is what it is. But to get this guy back on, you just find a peg, and there's no particular order that you need to have these things. But see, there's a peg right there, and I can stick this guy right on. Now, the official instructions tell you that the jet, as you transform this thing, has his legs up in the air. Like, I don't... Why? This is not good. Have you seen pictures of this thing with his legs up in the air like that? It's just beyond terrible. I don't understand why Hasbro would have... Oh, there's the aerial bots. I don't understand why Hasbro would have made that the official transformation and not figured something else they could do with this. However, I have. So let's go ahead and walk you through the steps to turn this into a halfway decent looking jet. All right, so to transform him, again, you don't have to take all the aerial bots off. Sometimes they fall off. I'm going to go ahead and take off Silverbolt here. Although he's pegged on pretty tight. But I want to get this to fold somewhat flat. And with that plane here and this one up top, you know, are really where you're going to struggle if you try to get that thing to lay flat. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take this control tower, just kind of move it like that. We're also going to start to unhook some panels. So these will become ultimately the feet. And go ahead and put the landing gear back in. Get some separation here. Lift up the panels on the front because all this pegs in really tight. And you see that this piece right here is really what's keeping that leg together. So you've got some tabs and you can just kind of wiggle it free, would be a good thing. And then you can take that and bring it down like that. Do the same thing on the other side. Now we're going to come up to this control panel. Here the control tower, the radar. We're going to bend that first down as I mentioned, and then you're going to collapse it all the way underneath like that. You can take the landing skids and kind of move them down like that. Take this part right here. This is a flap underneath the jet. We're going to take that and we're going to bend it all the way back, so it fits just like that. Now we're going to bend the legs over to the side to where these panels are. Now again, you see that tab right there? This is where the legs are supposed to be up here, and it just doesn't work. It's so terrible. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave the legs flat, and then we're going to open up this panel right here and kind of cover what's left. And these are on a dual hinge, so we're actually going to take that and dual hinge it shut, just like that. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. The wing is pegged in, so we're going to unpeg the wing. And this whole piece is kind of pegged in here, so you want to unpeg that as well. Then you can start to bring the wings out. Coming back around to the front, we're going to flip the other leg by rinsing and repeating on the other side. Then we're going to take these, and I did flip mine around. There seems to be a misconception with some people that these things have a pin that's keeping it in. Mine don't have a pin. This is just a friction joint here. So you can pull these out and switch them around if you want to orient them a different way. So feel free to do that. Now we're going to come up here to the arm, or what really is the shoulder as well, and you're going to pull that out. This is also on a dual hinge. There's a hinge right there and a hinge inside. And you're going to hinge this all the way back like that. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Pull the shoulder down, hinge it, all right? Then you're going to take the forearms right here, and we're going to twist that. First, we're going to bring the wings out. So let's go ahead and bring the wings out and over like that. And we're getting real close, guys, so hang with me. I want to go ahead and collapse this one back down again. I might have moved that earlier, so just ignore me. Don't do that. We're going to come around to the feet, and we're going to twist it all the way back like that. Same thing on the other side. Twist back that foot. It does have a peg underneath, so you're going to peg that in, just like that. I'm going to bring this back around. Some things have come a bit loose. Now we're going to come around to the bottom, and you're going to take the sled weapon, which is, these are so terrible, but you're going to take the sled weapon, and you're going to plug it into the hole right there. That really gives them something to kind of balance them out. All right, and we're really done. You just kind of want to push things together, and I fan these out as well. Let's take a look at this from all angles, and you decide if you like the way that this looks. So here he is in his jet mode, and this is a modified jet mode, but that doesn't look half bad, does it? I mean, look at that thing. His legs lay flat. Now again, I have reversed these. I think I reversed these too. I don't even quite remember, but if they don't look exactly like that and you want them to, then take them out. Looking at it from a different angle. Now again, I'm not saying that this is perfect. You can see it's kind of sloppy from that side, especially when you've got this down here and your weapon kind of balancing things out. Far from perfect, but oh man, so much better than what the official Hasbro release had in the instructions. So yeah, having something like that on your shelf isn't too terribly bad. I certainly don't mind it. Now, we do have Blunderbuss right here, and he can sit inside of the cockpit. And to do this, you just lift up this right here. Just get your finger, ow, get your finger in there. Got another injury. I'm telling you what, it's a dangerous job here. And take old Blunder, and I guess I should show you some detail of Blunderbuss before I stick him in the cockpit. Because the next time you see him, he's going to be a head. So, there you go. But yeah, he's no paint in the face, red in the body, no paint anywhere else, and then this kind of no paint giant head on the back. But, you know, it's cool. And to fly the plane, just kind of sit him down like that, stick him into the cockpit. He fits in there fine, and then close it up. No issue snapping it back in. Let's take a closer look at the jet before we transform him into robot mode, which is really good. I love the paint on this figure. You've got really glossy, shiny red in the nose cone, which is cool. Again, the same shiny red here on the top bits. You also have some pegs to where you can put Blunderbuss or anyone else on top of the plane if you want to. Then you've got red here, but it's not the same. So that might bug some people. Gray on the front, gray here. Again, the Autobot symbol shines through, which is cool. Again, the foily sticker. Button here, which we'll push that when we get into robot mode. That's ultimately what becomes the robot hips. And more plain details abound. Kind of going around the front. Not bad. Underneath, you've got some kibble, but not certainly the worst I've ever seen. The funny thing is the aerial bots sit in them kind of like those ocean things that stick to the fish. You know, I don't have any idea what I'm talking about. But you know, the little ocean creatures that stick on top of the giant shark. I think they're smaller fish, I don't know. But as these things swim through the ocean, they kind of hang along for the ride and eat plankton and such. So that's your nature lesson, is this week's eBEFOREi video reviews. Teaches you about nature and Transformers. You don't get that on other channels. So anyway, yeah, that's basically the deal in jet mode. I could show you the official transformation, but it's so ugly, I'm just not going to do it. Go find another review, and you'll see what this thing looks like in the official mode. And it's just terrible. Don't do it. Now let's get him in robot mode. Robot mode here is fairly simple. First, I'm going to open up the cockpit again, and I'm going to take Blunderbuss and eject him. And so we're flying, and we forgot the parachute, but you know, it's fine. By the way, inside the cockpit, not a whole lot. So you can kind of see there's a little bit of a control panel there, so and a seat, because things that sit like to have seats, I've learned. So I'm going to go ahead and close that back up. I'm going to lift the arms, or what will become the arms, up like this, and you can go ahead and collapse those back in. Again, dual hinge, and I'm just going to dual it on up. I'll leave it there for now. I'm going to come down to the feet. I'm going to take what become his feet, this part right here, and I'm going to move this all the way around like that and kind of get it sort of in the middle. I mean, that is his foot, so you want to just make sure that that's somewhat straight there. Do the same thing on the other side. Pull it out of the peg and bring this all the way around like that. You want to come to the side flare and move that like that up against the side. And you've basically built his legs. Now, what to do with these pieces? You can put one inside like that, one inside like that, and kind of leave the legs like that if you reverse them like I have, and it's fine. You can take it back that way, but that's as far as you can go because of the restriction here. So I usually put one in and one out. It really doesn't look that bad, especially in person, even if it's coming off kind of bad on camera. Now we're going to pull the sled off the back. We're going to take this piece right here, and I like to just move this back up because this has a hinge that likes to kind of pop out. See what just happened? And you got stickers peeling. I'm not a big fan of stickers. Longtime watchers of my reviews will know that stickers just make me angry. So there's that. Now that I've got this back up, I'm going to take the entire piece right here and pull it down. It's really just the easiest way to do it. And then get this onto his back. It does peg in, There's a little couple of holes and a couple little deals, and you can kind of stick it back there as much as you can. Then I'm going to take this and lift it all the way up, connect it into place like that. Do the same thing over here, just lift up, connect it into place like that. Nice solid snaps there. Now I'm going to push this button. Let me get closer on this gimmick. I'm going to push this button and watch what happens. Woo! That was cool. Let's do it again. I'm going to push this down, and I'm going to push the button, and it's going to go, woo! Hey, that was awesome. And so there's that. Then I'm going to turn this until I can find the fist. There it is. He's got a little tab right there, and I'm going to pull that down and then flip it back so he doesn't have monkey arms. Do the same thing over here. Pull that out. Flip it back, because we ain't do monkey arms on this channel. Then we're going to take these top pieces. We're going to bend them back. You can leave them up, but I think he looks better with it down. Once you buy your own, you do whatever you want with yours. Now I'm going to take Blunderbuss, and I'm going to transform him into a head. So he's down like that. It's kind of the stop, drop, and roll thing. Like if you've ever been in school and there's like a tornado warning, that's what you got to do. Exactly like this. And it hurts, but you got to do it for your own safety. You may want to push these things back down just to fit the head in. Some of these Titans Returns figures, the head can be a little difficult to pop in with this guy not turning all over the place. And some of them are real easy. This one happens to be real simple, and he's in. Then you can push this button, bam! He's got the things. I feel compelled to say the word bam every time that comes up. Let me try not to do it real quick. I'm going to try to push this button without saying bam. Bam! I can't do it every time. So anyway, after you've done that, you're ready to stand your figure up, pose your figure up, and there's Broadside in his robot mode. I mean, come on, the payoff here is pretty good. You get two great modes. You get an aircraft carrier, which is awesome, and you get a robot that looks great with a jet that's, it's okay, but the rest of it's really good. Let's take a look at him all the way around. Just a really kind of imposing figure. Love the way this guy looks. He's got the jet nose cone that hangs around the back like a backpack, but it's not in an annoying way. It's just kind of a, hey, I turn into a jet way, so deal with it. You have his little fish stuck to his fin, so that's cool. We keep rolling all the way around, and there's your Broadside in robot mode. Let's take a closer look and see what you're getting. And by the way, there's his feet, so you can see that doesn't really look bad to me. I mean, you just do what you want, but it looks fine for me. Closer look. Yeah, he's got a really nice face. I mean, it's not a lot of paint. This is actually painted. It's a kind of a paint on gray color that's different than the non-paint bits, but it looks good. Like a lot of these things, he has a swivel in here, and the head itself can move, so you got a little bit of neck movement. Not really much up and down because of the combiner or because of the headmaster port. Now onto the shoulders. Looking at the rest of articulation, you do get just some basic movement there in the shoulder. Then the arm has your standard transformer movement where it does operate on a hinge here, and then the elbow's on a hinge, and there's a swivel right underneath the elbow, and then the fist moves in due to transformation. Love that the cockpit has become the chest. On the waist, you do get 0 waist tilt, so there's that. Underneath here, you do have kind of a dual hinge. It's not quite a ball joint. It's just a, looks like a clickety-clackety hinge. I can't think of what that's called right now. But it doesn't click. It's super smooth and quiet. So I don't know how that's going to hold up over time, but it's there. And then you get a knee bend and a little bit of foot articulation, at least back and forth because of transformation, but you don't get side to side. Some quick size comparisons. Here he is next to the last night's Optimus Prime, and Optimus is a little bit taller, but not by terribly much. Just grabbing a few things I have within reach. There's a typical deluxe size scale figure, so he's got some bulk. I mean, he's a good-looking bot, and I think the bot and the aircraft carrier modes themselves are worth picking up this figure, even if the jet is kind of lacking. So that's my review of Broadside and Blunderbuss. I do recommend it. I don't even really have any reservations. Now, if it only turned into that jet and this robot, I'd say recommended with reservations. But since you have an amazing robot mode and a really amazing aircraft carrier mode, the mediocre jet I can somewhat deal with. I think if you use the kind of cheat method that I used, you'll get a better looking display, but I don't think that too many of you are planning on displaying him as a jet on your shelf anyway, so to me that really doesn't make any difference. He's a Voyager class figure, and the Voyager class figures, at least in the United States, are pretty decently priced. So if you happen to see this guy, yeah, I think it's a worthy pickup. Yeah, I recommend it. Thanks again for watching eBEFOREi video reviews. The most important thing you can do if you want to support me and my channel is just give me the thumbs up and hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And more importantly than that, spread the word. Let your friends know about eBEFOREi video reviews. You can catch up with me all over the place on social media. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. I have a Facebook group if you want to join in on the group and talk Transformers and whatever else every day. We've been talking Doctor Who today. There's no limits. You can talk about anything you want. Well, almost anything. Keep some of that private stuff to yourself, but the rest of it's fair game. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you back here again real soon.